It's a pleasure to have you here on this quick talk show about account abstraction, of course. And before we get to it, I'll talk about what Zeeve is. Then of course you can let us know what Biconomy is all about. What kind of waves it's making, why it exists, and why it's so important for it to exist. But initially to talk about Zeeve, we started as a Rollup as a service provider uh, about a few months back. But before that, we've been into the space for about 4 years doing Web3 infrastructure. Now, Rollup as a service came into action very rapidly. The whole Web3 world kind of moved so fast around it. So we, came in and also automated most of the Rollup related activities. For example, deploying a whole Rollup, be it on any of these stacks, OP stack, zkSync, Polygon CDK, Arbitrum. So you can create your networks in real quick fashion by configuring things rather than getting into command lines yourself. And it's not just the deployment which we help with in an automated fashion, but then after that, 24/7 management, monitoring, those dashboards, analytics, and a 99.9% enterprise SLA which we offer. And of course, rollups are not simple. You understand that as well. You have a lot of ancillary services around it, a lot of integrations you require. Account abstraction, of course, being one of them. But apart from that, you got your DAs, you got bridges, and several many other things to take care of. So we give a full stack solution to all rollups. And in fact, we are one of the implementation partners with Polygon Labs for Polygon CDK, same with zk Stack, zkSync, and of course Arbitrum. So this is a primary offering in today's rollup world. And we are very glad that we are partnered with Biconomy for account abstraction needs. In fact, a lot of customers, most of our customers, they ask for account abstraction, and that's why this conversation becomes very vital. That you talk about what Biconomy is and why account abstraction is there and what it is in reality.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we all have kind of seen this explosion, and it's been coming, kind of, I guess, from SuperNets being announced, almost 2 years ago now. Yeah, Avalanche subnets. This kind of roll-up-centric world is something we've all been expecting to see for a while, and I think it really picked up pace towards the second half of 2023. So yeah, I think this year is going to be the year of rollups. We're already seeing a lot of L2s already live, some coming up, and it's just the beginning, in my opinion, as well. So yeah, first of all, I'll quickly introduce myself and Biconomy. Yeah, my name is Rhic. I lead BD at Biconomy. Been with the company for over 2 years now, and Biconomy has been around since 2019. So we turned 5 this year, and from the very beginning, our focus has been on improving the user experience of Web3, right? We've been developer focused, but we also see that Web3, as it has been over the years, from the start of DeFi summer to the NFT boom to today, it's not very user friendly. It's not friendly to Web2 people coming in, having to set up a wallet, understand what a seed phrase is, understand what gas fees are, how much gas is being used, where to get those tokens, how to bridge. There's a lot of blockchain specific complexities that come in whenever someone wants to use a Web3 application for the first time, right? So from the very beginning, we were focused on building developer tooling, SDKs, APIs, infrastructure to help devs build better dApps, build better and more user-friendly applications. So yeah, our flagship offering through the years has been this product called Gasless, which used meta transactions to allow projects to sponsor the gas fees for their users. And of course, account abstraction was the natural progression of the same product, right? So for about almost 2 years now, we've been working on ERC-4337 account abstraction. We launched it last year along with the spec itself going live, and we've seen great traction initially. Still early days in 4337 world, but yeah, we are currently one of the largest providers across all chains and live on 15, or rather, I think today, as of today, it's maybe 17 different chains, including rollups, including app chains as well. So yeah, I think for us this year we are going to continue adding more and more chains. Hopefully, some of them, many of them, together with you guys, and enable like users to not have to understand Web3 to be able to use Web3.
Right. No, superb. I think we, of course, at Zeeve have been focusing upon, serving as many roll-up customers as possible, getting them on their journey as fast as possible. And every time, they ask for gasless, they ask for, more user-friendly transaction, or accommodating user transactions. This account abstraction, this word comes in play a lot many a times. So can you define it in a very lucid way, if you have to, what account abstraction is, and how it helps startup projects and dapps? I have interacted with a couple of gaming projects, while helping them through their roll-up journey. So they take it very seriously. It seems that it is very important for gaming customers, but I'm sure there are others as well. So would you like to talk a little about that?
Sure, 100%. I think it's account abstraction is such an abstract term in itself, right? It's often gets lost as to what it really means, what it is not. So let's kind of go back to its roots. And by definition, account abstraction basically means like you abstract away something from the account, right? Or you abstract the account away from something. And what we are actually talking about here is that you abstract away the private key and the account. So typically in Ethereum or other EVM blockchains, accounts or wallets are defined by their private key. These are externally owned accounts like MetaMask, Trust Wallet, whatever we all use. The private key itself is the account. If you lose the account, if you lose the private key, you lose the account. There is no way past it, right? With account abstraction, what do you mean private key separate from the account? How do you do that? Is with smart contract wallets. So account abstraction, in a sense, is using smart contract wallets to abstract away the account from the private key. So with AA, with smart contract wallets, you can have a setup where, okay, I'm using my smart account, but even if I lose the private key, there can be methods in our smart account so that I can recover the private key. Because now in AA, your private key is not necessarily just validating transactions. Validation instead is happening actually on chain in the smart contract wallet, in logic written in Solidity. So your account is programmable. You have a lot more power as a developer as to what your validation logic is going to be, what your execution logic is going to look like, and so on. So that's kind of the very high level, account abstraction, meaning smart accounts. If we drill down a little bit deeper today, when most of us talk about account abstraction, we are usually talking about ERC-4337, which is a certain standard for account abstraction. That's the standard we've been building on for a while. And that's basically the only standard that is live in production on any of these EVM blockchains. There's other standards as well, which have had like good, healthy discussions in the Ethereum kind of community, including, I think, the largest spec probably just behind 4337 that is popular, which is EIP 3074. But all other account abstraction specs are still like far away from being live. Yeah, so with smart accounts, and more specifically with ERC-4337, what you enable is that it enshrines certain validation flows to ensure that certain functionalities that we feel or the community feels are core to being account abstraction benefits, they can happen seamlessly, right? So most importantly, what ERC-4337 enshrines is the flow of logic via paymasters, so allowing gas fees to be sponsored by someone else. So me as a user, as someone who's using the smart account, I don't need to have the gas token to pay for gas, right? The dApp might be willing to sponsor it, or the chain itself might be willing to sponsor it. I think that is something that we'll see on app chains more and more, that the chain itself is pretty much gasless to use. The chain itself kind of sponsors all the gas fees for their users, and they foot the bill, and they are able to fund it via their business earnings, via whatever fee structure they have set up on their applications, right? So paymasters become like one core feature of this account abstraction narrative. Another one I think that is being used a lot is transaction batching. Again, your smart contract wallet right? It's programmable. So you can plug in features there that would otherwise have to be sitting in some third party smart contract. So you can do things like batching natively, so no more like approval and swap. You can do that in a single click in a single transaction, right? And there's a myriad like of features that we can keep talking about, but yeah, in a sense, AA put simply is your account being smart.
I know we being the technical guys, we can always talk about these things without
Yep.
any foundation on time. But yeah, I think you highlighted it very importantly. You know how it abstracts and makes things easier in the use cases where it does make sense, and you do not have that kind of user experience to compromise.
Yep.
So, we have implemented certain rollups for a few customers of ours who are into gaming, some in DeFi. So, what kind of trends are you seeing, with Biconomy going to market as well? That what industry segments or use case segments are picking up on account abstraction faster than any other?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think because at at its core, it's a very general purpose tech. We have not built the core infra with any particular vertical in mind. So we do have people from like every part of the spectrum. Like we have games, we have social applications, we have um, banks who have used account abstraction. We have like hardcore DeFi, degen sort of applications who use A. We have NFT projects who use A. So it's like really all across the spectrum. One trend that we've seen, especially late 2023, that's picked up is not trend, but one particular use case I want to talk about is perpetuals, and how one feature in particular, which is session keys, has unlocked something great for perp trading platforms, and that thing is one-click trading, right? Perps on chain today are competing essentially with the likes of Binance, right? Um, Users are used to like having the single click, low latency, low cost way of placing orders and canceling orders, and um, kind of doing transactions very often without any pop-ups. And for on-chain perp dexes to be able to compete, they need to give a UX that is somewhat comparable, right? So with account abstraction and with session keys, what they're able to do is you sign once as a user, you get a pop-up, you sign it, and with that transaction, you generate a session key on behalf of the user. So this session key is actually kind of like a private key, but it's scoped and timed. So what it means is, let's say it's only valid for 1 hour and it can only interact with a certain contract, right? So now I have a key that will allow transactions to go through from my smart contract wallet uh, for this particular perp trading platform's contracts for the next 1 hour. So what that means is no more pop-ups for the next 1 hour as I'm trading, right? And that kind of one-click trading sort of feature in the smart accounts has really picked up a lot in the last few months. We have a lot of major projects in the space live with us today, like Quenta, like Rage Trade, and there's a lot more in the pipeline as well. So that is one great use case we've seen, and I think it's the beginning. Like there's many more such use cases that will keep coming up, because with smart accounts, what happens is we've built out the base account, right? Now as a developer you can come in and build your own module on top of it and plug it in. So even like some of these projects, they have custom session validation modules, right? And we foresee like many other custom modules as well, like dollar cost averaging, for example. So different sort of DeFi use cases can have different um, use case specific modules being built out. So yeah, this has been like one of the first like innovative use cases unlocked with a. Outside of that, like gas sponsorship is something that is very very popular. We've been doing that for very like 4 years. Projects like Decentraland, Zedrun have been with us on our meta transaction infra, and we are seeing something similar in the gaming space, right? That as a game, I don't want my users to be have to learn about gas, how much gas to pay, any of those things. So recently we went live with NHS, which is a partner of chess.com and Animoca portfolio company. And yeah, Magnus Carlsen was tweeting about using NHS. I don't know how much he knows about NFTs and gas fees. Yeah, I'm sure like he's of course a genius, but I'm sure like learning about gas limits and stuff would not be fun for him either, right? So just democratization of blockchain technology with AA is something that's already happening, and it's kind of great to see.
I think it's a fantastic, way of knowing and saying that Magnus is a genius. But why do he care about? He plays chess. Why will he care about how it works underneath? That's for you and us to make easier for all of them.
100%.
That's a very interesting perspective. So we at Zeeve, we stand apart from perspective of differentiating our services from our competition and how the users can find distinct advantages working with us. But now we have partnered with Biconomy, so I think the users and our audience would want to know how Biconomy is differentiating itself from what exists out there. Other than that,
Yeah, sure. So we're one of the only players in AA who built out the entire stack for account abstraction and ERC-4337 in particular. So what that means is we've got our own smart contract wallets, our own bundlers and paymasters. And I think, yeah, and obviously an SDK so that you can use all these things, right? Uh, I'll highlight a few of the key features in each of these, especially on the smart account front. I think our smart account is currently the most deployed. So this version of our smart accounts went live around 6 months ago. If you look since then, the Biconomy smart account has been the most deployed across all chains. And the reason is very simple. It's by far the most modular and most customizable, as well as still being very gas efficient, right? So the session keys use case that we were talking about, other smart accounts like will not be able to cater to such like a custom session validation module based use cases. And there's more innovation coming there as well from our side. We also have account recovery, which as a module which will go live in our SDK very soon. Lot more modules to come. So the modularity of our smart accounts has been like one of our USPs, and has been the reason many developers and even like other leaders in a have been kind of turning towards us for. On the infrastructure side, which is paymasters and bundlers, I think bundlers, the game is about scalability and latency. I think today, in terms of scalability, all providers are at a similar footing. I don't have any doubts about our ability to scale because we've been basically doing the same thing for 4 years. With meta transactions, what we needed were relayers. Bundlers in 4337 are basically like more advanced relayers, right? So the underlying scaling infrastructure is exactly the same. So we've been able to translate our learnings over the 4 years here. And in the like past world of meta transactions, we've done like 750,000 mints in a span of 2 days for, again, a Web2 project, of course, 100 Thieves doing a commemorative NFT mint. But yeah, scaling is very important, and we've got a solid track record of scaling. Another thing is latency. And I think with AA, actually, latencies do end up increasing a little bit because there's a lot more calls that need to happen, right? So last 2-3 months, we've worked a lot on our latency, and today we are definitely the fastest AA infra provider out there. So yeah, I think that's kind of like a couple of key differentiators as to why today Biconomy is probably the most preferred AA stack, complete AA stack out there.
I know that's very exciting and superb to hear. How do you see, how do you see gas conversations are everywhere. People are getting more gassy about gas. But how do you see, enterprise ecosystem reacting to it? Because when we take solutions to enterprise, our job is to make it full stack, right? And we'll take Biconomy with us towards the enterprises. So what do you see, are the important as important factors, when you'll reach out to an enterprise and talk about account abstraction?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and we can speak about it quite a bit because we've been working with JP Morgan for like 2 years.
Oh,
We've worked with other enterprises as well. Something's coming up soon that we've been teasing with Mercedes and the Accentric team. So lots happening there. I think the key one I want to highlight is, and it's funny you mentioned gas because they don't want to know about gas, they don't want to touch gas, they don't want to deal with gas. So account abstraction doesn't become like a good to have for them, it's like a necessity. Without gas abstraction, they cannot do anything on chain, especially like on public blockchains, right? Because when we're talking about these TradFi institutions like banks, like JP Morgan and the likes, they cannot hold crypto on their balance sheet, even if it's to pay for gas. These are regulated entities, and yeah, they are not able to explain to their compliance teams that, guys, this is actually tech infra that we need to spend this token. The compliance still sees it as crypto and doesn't like it. It's 2024, but that's where the world is, right? So for them, being able to abstract gas away, being able to do transactions themselves without having to pay the gas, with having a third party pay the gas, is like a must have. So that has been, I think, a central theme across all enterprise conversations we've had, uh, especially on the like fintech side of things, or whenever we are talking about any entity that is like regulated or is listed on some stock exchange somewhere and so on, right? So I would say that's like the big one. I think another one we are seeing rise slowly, as these guys also become more nuanced and more well versed in blockchain, is permissioned access, and how account abstraction enables that. Because with programmable accounts, you can have four different owners to the account with four different levels of access. You can have employees who can, let's say, only approve certain types of transactions. You can have their managers who can approve, let's say, all types of transactions. And then you can have admins who can, top up funds, remove funds, and stuff like that. So lot of nuance there, and a lot of different types of use cases coming in that are enabled essentially by the accounts being programmable.
Yeah, no, absolutely perfect. You had me at, when you said the enterprises, they don't want tokens on their balance sheets and
Yep.
regulations. I think that's, the nail in the coffin, and nobody wants it. We, in fact, had certain customers where, we had to go through the AA way just to make sure that, they end up running a roll-up which they wants to, and do not have to get into, all these complexities. So yeah, these are real challenges, no doubts about it. And we all are seeing, Web3 industry grow rapidly. I have never seen it grow this way since the rollups, or until the rollups, I would rather say. So
Yeah.
how do you see this partnership with Zeeve, paving the way for Biconomy to gain a wider market, or getting, to a larger market?
Yeah, I think so. Whenever a project is looking to kind of deploy a roll up, their first point of contact is obviously going to be the tech stack that they want to work with, and the roll up as a service provider that they want to work with, right? I think
Yeah.
a provider comes like after that. So as part of this partnership, we are hoping to work closely with you guys and kind of help these projects also figure out their ideal stack together. Because and I'm sure you'll kind of vouch for this, what we do is a lot of like, it's more consultative uh, in approach, right? It's like uh, it's more business consulting than sales in
Yeah.
a sense. Because oftentimes it's not just one piece of the puzzle that we provide that they are trying to figure out. It's a much larger piece that they're trying to figure out. Especially with you guys, you essentially own their entire stack being usable and being useful for them. What explorer they need, what indexer they need, what data they need, everything on top of running the actual chain itself, right? So we also see ourselves kind of fitting in a similar way. Everything to do with account abstraction, everything to do with UX, key management, gas management, and I think together we can truly like give this full stack solution, and also give this kind of consultative approach in helping them figure out what they need, and figure out how they can go to market.
No, I think absolutely. In fact, we are really glad that we are partner with Biconomy for account abstraction, because we want to, pass on the right advice, right benefits to our customers, and right integrations in the end. So I'm sure,
100%.
uh, they would enjoy this integration and partnership, and they would see long-term benefits working with Biconomy along with Zeeve to have account abstraction in their rollups. And I think, before we break off, I want to tell all the rollups and projects out there that Zeeve and Biconomy are working together to make sure that your rollups are running not just fine, but the best possible account abstraction capabilities underneath. So if you're looking for, a deployment, monitoring, and management console, We are here if you're looking for a very fantastic, high-performance, enterprise-grade account abstraction solution. Biconomy is with us. So don't hesitate. Just reach out and have it on your way. Anything,
Yes,
Rhic,
sir.
before we break off, you wanna tell the audience about?
No, I think Ghan, you kind of summarized it beautifully. Again, my DMs are open pretty much everywhere, so feel free to hit us up. Happy to help. This is like a super exciting year coming up. We were just like sitting, having an on-site together, a bunch of folks together in office in Dubai, and it's like the energy is real. I think this year there's a lot to scale as well, and Rollups are key in that. So yeah, looking forward to working with you guys and looking forward to working with all the new app chains and rollups that are about to come up.
Super. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time and this fantastic conversation here. Rollups for the win. That's to Rollups.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It was great chatting with you. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.